Hello guys, welcome back to Analytics with PM. So in this video, I will import the data from to the GitHub location to our Lakehouse by using a notebook. So basically, Pandas library is already installed in our Fabric account. So we don't need to install the Pandas library, but we have to import it. So after importing the Pandas library, we have to create a data frame. And after creating a data frame, we can read the data from to the GitHub location into our data frame, and we can display the data. Once we have read the data from to the GitHub location, we can write back our data into our Lakehouse. So basically, once we are writing back our data to our Lakehouse, it will save into the file section, but we have to import it into a Delta format. So basically, there are two methods to convert those files into a Delta format. So the first method is we can convert our data frame into a Spark, and we can save our file into a Delta format into the table section. So, and in second method, we can use data flows N2, and in data flows N2, we can do some of the cleansing operation also, and we can give the destination to our bronze layer. So it will be saved into the format of Delta. So by these two methods, we can convert our file into a Delta format. After then, we will use a data pipeline to trigger this data flow and notebook so that it can be schedule refresh. So guys, let's back to screen. So let me open our Fabric account. So basically here we are having a retail workspace, and in retail workspace we are going to create a bronze lake house so that we can store our table into our lake house. Let me rename it as a bronze. Okay, so our bronze layer is created. Now there is the option of opening a notebook, so you can create a new notebook, and also you can modify your existing notebook. So I'm going to create a new notebook. Here I am going to rename it as a retail. Okay, now I am going to import the pandas library. Basically, pandas is already installed in our Fabric account, so we don't need to install the pandas, but we have to import the pandas library. So let me import the pandas. Import pandas as pd. Okay, so we have imported the pandas. Now let me show you where our data reside. So basically, I have already copied the link. So here in the GitHub location, we are having one CSV file. We are going to read this CSV file. So let me copy this. Now let me create a data frame. Pd dot read to CSV underscore CSV, and in double quotation we are going to give the path, and now we are going to display it. Display df. So basically, we have imported the pandas library, we have created a data frame, and we have read the file from to the GitHub location, and we are going to display this file. Okay, let me run it. So basically, we got our data here. Now here we are having unit price and quantity. Now we are going to create another column, just like we are going to create a gross total, where the gross total should be unit price multiplied by the quantity. So let me write a code. Df gross total is equal to df quantity multiplied by df unit price, and we are going to display it. Let me run it. Okay, so we got our new column added as a gross total, and here we are having the values multiplied by unit price and quantity. So now we are going to write this data into our uh, bronze layer. So basically we in the bronze layer we are having the two folders, table and the files, and we are going to save it into a file location. So now we are going to save this file into our bronze layer. So let me write the code df dot to csv, and in quotation we are going to copy the path of this file, uh, copy fbs path, and we are going to, in double quotation, we are going to give it, and here we are going to rename it as a, we have to give the file name, so we are going to give it as a retail dot csv. Let me run it. Okay, and now the file got saved into our files location. Let me refresh it. Yeah, we got our file. So basically in the bronze layer this file is stored in the format of csv into the file section, but we want this table into a delta format. So to convert it into a delta format we are having the two methods. So the first one is we can convert this data frame into a spark and we can save it into a delta format. And the second method is we can create a data flow zen2 where we can import this csv file, and where we can do some of the transformation, just like here we have created the gross total. There also we can add the column and create the gross total, and in data flow gen 2 we can also do some of the modifications into the data, just like we can do some of the cleansing operations, the columns which are not needed we can also remove them, and after then we can give the destination to our bronze lake house, and it will, after publishing the data flow, it will save into the format of delta. So now let's start with the first method where we are going to convert this data frame into the Spark, and after then we are going to write it into a delta format. So let's start. Df1 is equal to Spark dot create data frame df. After then we are going to write it into a delta format. So df1 dot write mode will be append. If the file is already existing we are going to append it. Dot format will be delta dot save as table, and here we are going to rename it. So we are going to rename it as a retail. Okay, now let me run it. Okay, now it got succeeded. So let me check under the table section. Let me refresh it. Yeah, we got our file as a retail. So let me go back to our bronze layer. Let me refresh it. Here you can see the data where we have added one column gross total. So this is the first method where we can convert our file into a delta format by using a notebook. So let me save this notebook. Okay, it will be auto saved. Now let's proceed with the second method. Let me create a data flow Zen2. I'm going to name it as a retail. Here we are going to import the data from to the bronze layer. Okay, into the file section we were having retail.csv. Yeah, so this file we have to convert into a delta. Let me load this file. And now here you can see we don't need this column, we are going to remove it. And here the columns are shifted one row down, so we are going to use first row as a header. Okay, let me show you. So we have created gross total there into the notebook. So we can also create here, we can add the column. So here it is very simple to create these type of columns, just like we have to let me rename it as a gross total new. And here we are going to multiply the unit price into quantity. Okay, so we got our gross total new column. So basically converting the file into a delta format, I suggest you to use Dataflow Zen2 because here you can do all the cleansing operations. So all the transformation you can do, you can add the calculated columns, you can add the custom columns. So and you can shape the data as you want into this Dataflow Zen2. After then you can give the destination into the Lakehouse. I am going to save it into our retail workspace into the bronze layer, and I'm going to rename it as a new. Save setting. I'm going to publish this data flow. Let's wait for this data flow to complete. As you can see, the data flow got successfully published. Let me go to bronze layer so that I can show you the tables. So we got our new table, and here you can see the gross total new column. Okay, so basically now we are going to create a data pipeline where we are going to trigger these data flow and the notebook so that it can be schedule refresh. I'm going to name it as a retail. Okay, and now we are going to take first notebook, and our notebook workspace is retail, and Here the notebook is also retail. Here we are going to name it as retail notebook. Okay, and now we are going to take a data flow. On success, it will point to data flow Zen2, and here we are going to name it as a retail data flow, and our data flow Zen2 is retail. Okay, now we are going to schedule it. Repeat by daily, and the time will be 8 p.m. Start date you can take today's, and the end date you can give any. Okay, and the time zone you can also set. We can apply, and we can close it, and we can save this data pipeline. So basically every 8 p.m. it will trigger the data flow which we have created, and it will also trigger the notebook. So whenever the pipeline is getting refreshed, our data will also be get refreshed. Thank you for watching this video.